Welcome back, everyone, here to the North American LCS. We are gearing up for our second game between Doublelift and between Doublelift Biofrost against Wildturtle and Adrian. We're the bot lane focused stream here with Cop and Bunny Fufu. Wonderful people here. And when we were talking about the first game, you guys were talking to me about sort of the lane priority that TSM's duo lane had with Ash Bard having way better wave clear than Jin Soraka, and what that meant for the rest of the team.
I mean, yeah, they were just putting a lot of pressure on the map, bottom side, so that showed in how much vision they got bot side, how like safe Doublelift was able to like push up really far, and then yeah, Biofrost and Svenskeren just getting vision together, while on the other side, yeah, some Mortals wasn't really doing much down there.
So I'm curious if they're going to change up their pick ban for those reasons specifically. Like last pick ban we saw Karma and Sivir banned, and those two champs are good at pushing and surviving ganks. That's why I think there's a try priority.
Well, we'll see if that changes around. Rumble and Shen off the table. So no Shen for Haunter. Not allowed to play this one anymore. Instead, we wait to see what else comes through here. Yeah, I agree. Shen, or Sivir and Karma, right? Not only two high priority champions, very, very good at what they do. I personally love playing Sivir a lot myself. It's the late game carry. It's every good thing you'd ever want. And TSM kind of aware of the fact that picks and bans are changing around a bit, and so they've banned away Rek'Sai from Reignover. Make sure it's okay. No Nidalee for Svenskeren. Sees Gragas is like the next premier jungler that most people think about. Hecarim, of course, still not bad either. And we'll see. Maybe Sona stays up.
Probably see like a Gragas versus Elise matchup this game, something like that.
So would you first pick Sivir? There's obviously a lot of strats you can go for, but if this champion stays up, is that what you're looking to first pick?
I think so. I think TSM or Immortals are both. They'd probably both first pick Sivir.
If they get the chance. No Talia.
Maybe.
Yeah? If Sivir goes away, is it Karma, or is that not quite high enough priority?
Yeah, they probably could pick Karma. They could.
They could. It's one of the options. There's many, of course. No Talia for Pobelter. Bjergsen doesn't want to play it himself. You can see, of course, down there the bans. TSM actually using many of the same bans they did before. No Bard for Biofrost. So now, the important thing is Sivir, Karma, and Sona all up from the previous draft.
Probably see a Sivir here, just because both supports are up.
And they were not a fan of the Bard safety from last game, because I think Bard is really good versus Adrian's champ pool, because he's playing those squishy healer supports, and a Bard ult on top of you is not what you want to have.
Oh wow.
Hecarim.
So Hecarim actually prioritized above Gragas with only Rek'Sai off the table. This champion is shooting up in popularity.
TSM might actually want to play just maybe Lucian into Sivir again.
Okay, and let him play the matchup.
Yep.
Well, it looks like Sivir is still not highly prioritized right now. Malzahar already locked in. The earlier hover we saw on the Sona actually makes a lot of sense. So highest prize support being Sona, highest prize mid laner being Malzahar, and the highest prize jungler being Hecarim. Talk to me about your experiences with Sona, what she's good at, what her fears are, favorite food, favorite color, that whole thing.
Pizza, purple, and it's one of those champs that does daddy ganks pretty easily, but again, her strengths are so high that it covers up for those flaws. You know what I mean? Yeah,
of course. So tell me about what are these strengths? When you get Sona, what are you excited to when you're the coach, what are you excited to have happen for your team?
Just the healing power, the trading power. You're basically guaranteed to win all of the categories in that aspect. And once you do hit 6, normally like for Karma, for example, you don't bring the hard CC that Sona brings in those later on fights.
Right. So brings a lot of useful skills, even if you could die in lane. And there's Sivir Karma actually. TSM in a bargain almost, right? Like they got to take Sivir Karma pretty cleanly in that draft, which is still one of those very best duo lanes. Again, you're talking about the fact you can push being one of the main
yeah, it's kind of like what they did last game as well. They're picking a very safe push out, pressure mid, and we saw last game get the dragon. So I'm guessing they're favoring for another triple Infernal Dragon game.
That'd be nice for them, of course. And Ashe actually into Sivir. I know what you said earlier in the first game, like Ashe doesn't feel great in a Sivir, but Turtle's still willing to play the matchup. How come?
I think he just wants to focus the front line, take down Hecarim when he jumps in, because I mean he doesn't really need to focus down the Sivir. He just needs to arrow mid, arrow Hecarim or Nara when they move too far up, and then he just hits that huge power spike mid game where he just starts doing insane amounts of damage. But Sivir, I think, will just be able to do a lot more. And the TSM comp actually gives them a lot of mobility, so they can choose fights really quickly. And so Immortals has to position really safely around the Sivir Karma.
All right, so plenty of threat on Wildturtle and Reignover in the back, or not Reignover, sorry, Pobelter in the back line. And of course, Doublelift, plenty of room to move around on this Sivir. The Karma helping out plenty as well. And yeah, we've talked about what most of these supports do. Plenty of utility on both these sides. The shielding, the healing, all great stuff. Better CC for Adrian. And now Immortals needs themselves a top laner to face up against Gnar. Anything you're looking at that's special here? Aurelia is kind of like the common one.
I don't know. It's just Huni comfort pick. Rumble's banned, so.
Tom Kench. Tom Kench into Gnar on the top side, which now makes Turtle even safer. If he's afraid of getting dove, now he's got a Tom Kench to knock him into his belly.
They actually have like a double tank top and jungle, so there's not going to be a lot of pressure on that Gnar.
So you don't see ganks up there, okay.
You could see ganks off of Malzahar maybe roaming up. Depends on where Svenskeren ends up going.
Okay,
Because
but
it's going to be hard for them to like kill Tom Kench also.
right, so if you see less pressure, expect the top lane on both sides, you think, okay, maybe more pressure towards the bot side. Does this inform you in any way when you're like going your 2-on-2, knowing the jungle is probably more likely to be on your side of the map?
I'm trying to think of bot lanes too, though. Like, there's not going to be a lot of real pressure down there. It's like Ashe Sona, which is pretty even with Sivir Karma. Ashe Sona might have like a little bit of pressure just because they have like poke and I guess sustain, but I mean both sides are pretty even. They can just wave clear if they want.
Okay, so heavy wave clear for both these duo lanes. That doesn't really change how you're going to play the matchup. Are you trying to permanently shove and keep them under their turret? Are you trying to keep it at equilibrium in case you're afraid of like a Gragas or Hecarim ganking you? Like, how are you going to approach the 2-on-2 lane?
You got to worry about the new Tom Kench ult as well.
Okay.
How would you approach a cup?
If I was who?
Either side. Pick
Either
a
side. All right,
TSM side.
I'll be TSM.
Okay.
I mean, with Sivir Karma, they just want to wave clear until Sivir hits 2 or 3 items.
After you shoved the first 3 waves, right?
Yeah. Is this a 2v1?
No. Shove
Standard.
Pretend it's
every
standard.
lane.
Just shove.
Yeah.
That's all Sivir does pretty much. I mean, just run around. Can't really like hit tower under like a Malzahar, so pretty much just gonna see him farming.
It's always annoying playing with it and against it because you can't like kill the enemy lane and
Right.
Yeah.
Can't kill him, can't be killed, get rid of the minions. Hopefully you'll have priority. And how about the Ashe Sona side then? Because we talked a little bit about what Sivir wants to do.
Ashe Sona. I mean, they just want to try to make plays. Maybe look for like arrows on mid.
Okay.
Maybe do like some Tom Kench ultis bottom. It really depends on where Reignover is going to go and where Svenskren's going to go. Just
Okay.
need to see, because that's where your whole team's moving. They go where your jungler goes.
Right, and once again, they're playing more utility-focused AD carry, so unsurprisingly, it's more about where your team's going. You know, follow up the Tom Kench, follow up the Gragas, follow up the Malzahar, or vice versa.
Like if you hit an arrow on that Zillion, he's probably going to die to like 8 seconds of CC.
Yeah, you've got a lot of things to layer against him.
So they can look for like little windows of opportunity there, and then we got brutal battle going down up
every
here.
single scrim I see Impact do the same thing against these 2 people specifically.
Nice. Gnar and Tom Kench being buddies. And okay, so we have ourselves a 2-on-2, guys. I'm excited. They're going to actually face each other in lane. Looks like the standard Gromp Krug starts. Do you feel there's any advantage being like red or blue side on these starts? Does it matter at all?
I don't think it really.
If you have AoE, it slightly favors the
Right, like this would be a little bit worse if these guys are doing Gromp, basically, Sivir and
pretty
Karma.
much, yeah.
Okay.
But not a huge deal. I'm just kind of curious, as I wondered if you had any heavy inklings. Biofrost pops the ulti early to start the cooldown sooner.
Get to see some standard lanes.
Yep.
Fun.
I like the 2v1. This one.
Yeah, we got to talk about it, and now we're into this game as well. So it looks like Turtle tanks down to about 2/3 HP than Adrian does, and sort of similar for TSM, Biofrost at about 2/3 health, and Doublelift takes some more damage.
Give it to Sona.
Ooh. So level 2 early for Sona.
I
Definitely
would
want the
never
heal
give
early.
Bunny that.
Even when he was playing Thresh for the flash play?
Never.
Wow, rude.
No matter what champion I am, I get the.
Hey, when
Gromp.
we played, we split it.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah,
true. That's how that worked
true.
back in the day.
Yeah. I like this one more.
I do not.
Solo XP to the AD carry.
Yup.
Well, they both managed to get XP in time. All 3 melees died, so they hit level 2. Congratulations. Ooh, the
Wow.
reflex
The
spell
counter
shield
play.
into the Q. Wow, this is really well played. So talk to me, like, Biofrost just has brush control. Like, what does Immortals do to, like, not get completely boned by Biofrost right now? Because he's gotten so much poke on them
It
already.
looks like it's just level, because it's level 2 Sivir versus level 1 Ashe. I mean, Karma pretty much, yeah, she just pokes really hard from long range, and then Sivir just follows up with a Q, and I mean, that just showed they got a lot of damage on Turtle, so he just kind of had to play safe until they hit level 2 on Sona. Or I mean, Ashe.
This is, like, really well played, too. Doublelift is sort of ensuring he won't throw a Q until he knows, like, Turtle can only go in a straight line. He's not throwing them out until they're guaranteed. And Adrian's actually positioning to block, it looks like, Mantra Qs to make sure that Turtle's not getting hit by them.
Oh, they actually have a lot of lane pressure here.
Yeah.
Just some, like, Doublelift and Biofrost just always, I don't know, they just play really aggressively and they always just have this pressure, it seems.
And we just now saw the ward come out, the Trinket Ward from Biofrost, as well as one over the wall. Nicely done by Adrian and co to actually land that one. That was slick, but...
I've known in the past as well that they've gone as far as Biofrost walking into the enemy jungle at this point, getting a ward on the jungler is that much pressure.
To make sure that they can keep playing this way. It's actually worth pointing out, I'll drop my own exposition here. Because Wildturtle and Adrian did the Gromp, they know Gragas started topside, so they know his jungle gank is at least 3 minutes to get down to bot side. So at 3 minutes, they ward the river. And like that's the timing, knowing which side leashed. So important ward timing, they know they're still safe. What's actually nice is like, TSM don't have to Trinket Ward their own lane. They only have to Trinket Ward the river, right? Like, that brush is never going to have an Immortals member in it, the one on the right-hand side, right? So, like, they only have to stagger Trinket to the left-hand side, which keeps the river warded for almost the entire time. In Immortals, they have to, like, Trinket Ward for Biofrost, they have to Trinket Ward to make sure they're not getting dove. It's like, it's more than just the damage they're taking. They have to, like, waste wards. Plus 9 CS right now, as the 6th wave comes in.
Ooh.
Yeah, Siver's having a good time.
Bam! Oh, wow.
That's actually brutal. He's going to
Adrian
probably
didn't
miss
get
a
to
wave.
stop it.
Cop would be tilted.
Oh, I'd be so tilted. I'd be like, I need to swap right now.
Is there anything that, like, Immortals did wrong here, or is it just like, this is what's going to happen to you in the lane? Like, I'm really curious, because, like, I would never force a 4-minute recall against, like, Wildturtle and Adrian, so I'm curious, like, you know, the good choice that TSM made, the ones that Immortals screwed up.
I think Biofrost just landed a really crucial Mantra Q, and that ended up like with Turtle being chunked, and so he just had to give up the wave. And then slowly Doublelift and Biofrost get like more and more poke on them, so they're just gonna have to like sacrifice a little bit of the landing phase. Just maybe go for like a level 6 kill or something.
Okay, so we'll see if they can come back into this one a little bit later. Interesting choice right here. TSM make sure they match the recall. They shoved that last wave in and then made sure they could get their own items. You never want to walk in a lane and have them have more items than you, because you were winning and now they waste 2 longswords.
Yep, and Turtle also misses the wave that got pushed in a tower. And it's even more brutal because your mid laner died now, so being this far behind kind of sucks.
And the most important recall for supports is not necessarily this one. It's going to be the next one when you get the Sightstone, because that's when you start working with your jungler to move in the enemy jungle to get deep wards to possibly set up a dive or a mid roam into a 5-man dive.
Can't wait for the 5-man dive. Just Doublelift just gets completely wrecked. And again, wow, he lands both halves of the Q just off of the slow from Karma. Like, that's really good skill shot accuracy.
A lot of synergy in this lane.
Yeah. Yeah. So
It's
Wild
like the most staple good lane.
Right, absolutely.
It was the double ban last game.
Yep. Surprised Immortals actually like gave it to them too.
Yeah, right. That's a little surprising, but it happened. Adrian, by the way, actually is maxing heal second. I don't know if that's actually common for Sona. I haven't run into too many myself, but he's got 2 points in the heal. Is that just for lane, or is that normal for Sona now?
It's definitely an audible for this lane, I would say.
Okay. So I know Adrian's one of the first to do shield max first on Karma as well, right before she became popular for everyone else. He was running that, so he's always been a very supportive style player. TSM's like smashed the rest of this game as well, so like, at this point, can you even expect Raynor to come bot lane, or is he only going to go bot lane because it's the only good lane for them? Like, what does this mean for the expectation of jungle ganks?
It's hard because I don't even know if they can do anything down here. Like they might be able to like Gragas, E-Flash, ulti into Sona ulti on Karma, and then like they still might survive.
Yeah, they have
Oh
the
my God.
CC to start a fight. Hopefully they can finish them if they do get a fight off.
Like especially now with Turtle at like half health.
Yeah, TSM doing an amazing job landing the poke.
It's almost double CS.
Yeah, this is super rough. This is actually just freaking brutal.
And this is like Immortals counter pick, so they're not actually having a good time with their counter.
Right, yeah, TSM blind picked this duo, and it just did not matter. I guess the Sona was picked first, but even still, like, yeah, this is rough stuff. They were losing the rest of the lanes as well. 1,800 gold lead. Looks like Doublelift just gets to push.
600 gold at 7 minutes. That's a big lead on Sivir.
Yeah. Yeah, we had the stats coming into the series. Doublelift averages +8 CSD at 10, and Wildturtle's -1. And this is +28 instead of like +9.
Just
Like,
shows like
oh
how much help they give Doublelift. And like
another
how,
double
yeah,
Q.
he's just safe. He just knows when to farm, and then yeah, Biofrost is just always there. So
Yep. Trinket Wards continue to go into the river. They are sure enough of what Raynor was up to. Who's actually invading deep down into the red buff, kind of looking over at what the Immortals jungler is doing. They actually don't have amazing tracking on Rainover. It feels like they just feel safe, even if they don't have the
Yeah,
most perfect
TSM's
vision.
thought process is, I'm going to get you low enough to, even if your team does come, you're not going to be able to fight.
Mm-hmm. That seems likely.
See
And
what
here they
happens.
come, though. Populus is here. All right, Sivir ulti popped early teleport. There's the layer of CC. Silence lands as well.
There's Zillion ulti
And Zillion saves it.
Yep.
And they're gonna be
This
That
like
is
what we talked about earlier.
Ridiculous. That is just so disheartening. They're just all dead. They're just all dead. That is obnoxious.
It's like they don't have enough damage with 4 champions to even kill a Karma, and it's just like impossible to win the game at that point.
All right, they got one back. Good job, Immortals.
Nice.
And it was reflexes, right? It was like, they're in Tribush. Run, pop ulti, run, TP for me, help now. And everyone shows up in time. They win a 4v5.
Yeah, like TSM doesn't need to even make any plays. They just need to wait and like just get vision control, see when Immortals goes in, and then just counterplay.
Wow. And they get Infernal. So TSM, what, like 90% chance they win this game at this point?
Pretty much. Like they're not gonna like do a huge throw probably.
Probably.
Probably. It could happen, but I mean TSM's pretty good at closing games out.
Yeah, they really are. So, on both sides, we'll start with the TSM side because they're winning. You're up this much. Do you change anything about your game? Actually, let's just talk about this.
Yeah,
right?
this is huge here because the Ashe is at 30%, so they know if this Zillion TP comes in, they're going to be able to turn it. And he barely gets it off, and then they just hit the go button.
Yeah, like what does he even do? He's ran forward and ran away so far in this whole fight, and then he just dies. There's like nothing he can do.
Yarnell's a monster.
Wait, what?
Yarnell is a monster.
Mr.
Kevin Yarnell.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you guys played with him on Gravity together.
It was fun.
Yeah. Is he the best X-Gravity player?
This guy is right here.
Stop.
That's me.
David Robertson.
I have 500 confirmed kills.
That's true, actually. More than anyone else in your team, I'm pretty sure. Move, like, maybe facing relegations in Europe.
Whoa.
Oh, come on.
Sorry, I'm
I
sorry.
don't want to hear that.
All right.
I haven't been watching his games.
That's fair. Actually, I think he got benched.
Oh.
I'm not keeping up on Europe as well as I should be, but... Oh, look.
Oh, that's
We're watching us.
That's us.
It's us. We're awesome. All right, so here comes the dive. Svenskman's going to kill some people.
Zillion moving? So this could actually be like a little risky.
Yeah, they don't have Zillion, so they call it off. And Rainover's doing some damage.
Ooh, that was a nice ult.
Yeah.
They follow up on it? Oh,
Wow.
good.
While this slam's up, it might get something. They've got Bobo there. He's
They
dead.
got it.
Just kidding. He's going to revive.
I wonder if they're able to turn this.
Oh, yeah.
Nope. Double's here.
Zillion.
Just Zillion things. No big deal.
Here to just make you feel bad.
Yep.
That's a bummer. I know it's always annoying playing Ashe into Zillion too, because it's like, okay, I'm gonna arrow this guy, let's engage on him, take him out, and then it'll be a 4v5. But Zillion ult, still a 5v5.
Yeah. Life is hard. Okay, so the question I was going to ask you is, like, we've all been in games where you're up like 10,000 gold and you still manage to throw. So how do you play to make sure you don't screw the game up and lose when you're TSM right now? Like, if you're Doublelift or Biofrost, do you change anything about your playstyle, or you keep on a smash lane just as hard as you were before?
A biggest thing is, and it's what I think they did earlier in that bot fight, was make sure you can match the number advantage. And before, they had the option of double TP coming in, and that's what they did to counter it, and it worked out perfectly. So they're going to make sure when TPs are up again for both sides, they're going to be able to match the pressure.
And Double just built a freeze right there. Didn't stop the recall, but okay, they're going to break it out now. But they tried for a second to, like, try to sneak through the brush and go for the recall stop. Okay, so make sure you can match TP advantage so you don't get 5v4'd or 5v2'd or whatever. That's a good one. And otherwise, yeah, they're mostly just playing lane pressure still and saying, well,
still
we're
safe
not
too.
this wave. Right, they're totally safe. Actually, Immortals have pretty good defensive pink wards. I want to point out that they've got one in Tribrush, one at Blue Buff, and one in front of Scuttlecrab, basically. So at least Immortals owns their own jungle. It's something that Adrian's tried to do, is make sure that at least TSM's not getting deep wards on them so that they can try to find the sneak gank, right?
Yeah, they just don't want to make any crucial mistakes. Just play safe, push out lanes, eventually group up, slowly build your lead, because now they're going to have a really big buy here. Probably Essence Reaver, like Berserker Greaves. Oh no, just a little bit off.
Half a Zeal.
Just a little bit off.
Yeah, he hits at 700 gold. He needed another 100 to get Zerks.
I mean, he's just going to push in bottom all the way, rotate mid, maybe get damage there, and
Yeah.
or even, when's Drake? Probably not for a while.
3 minutes, 4 minutes, something like that.
Okay, so yeah, they just want to push out bottom, force Ashe to rotate down there, because you want to just control where the enemy AD carry is going at this point.
Yeah,
Okay.
and their main goal is going to be to take over that jungle to make it so Ashe doesn't want to walk far up at all. Even past their dead tower would be dangerous.
Right. So limit Immortal's options by playing wave control, playing ward control, basically. Right. So it's Biofrost to make the sweeps happen. Ashe Arrow. Boop.
Force the flash, that's good.
I think Concert might
get
die.
it. So yeah, they've ulted.
And he's done so. All right. So a couple things going back. Immortal's only down 3,000. It's not the worst thing in the world. And Adrian gets a recall stop.
Yeah, they even brought him up here to kind of all in because bot lane was kind of a lost cause at this point.
Wow. Yeah, so Adrian roams out of the lane, says, sorry, Turtle, you're screwed. Tries to make a play with the rest of the team, does so.
And they just
That was
stay
good.
bottom. Just push it in. It's
Right.
an opportunity. Instead of going mid, they see there's 4 top, so just keep pushing. Zone Turtle a little bit, force them to miss even more CS. And they have a wave pushing into you. So you're just going to end up another like 10 to 15 up.
Yeah, you're seeing this. It's almost plus 50. It's like 45 right now, and that that turret's half dead. Turtle, I guess, as well, kind of is half dead. He's already got 1 death here.
Server's just going to get more and more ahead too.
Yeah,
Right.
the CS lead could explode here. It already kind of exploded, but with Ashe, after this wave, it's going to start getting really risky pushing out bot.
Okay, so Turtle constantly has to be afraid of getting dove on. He can never really play past a point where Svenskard might be behind him or Biofrost might be behind him.
And double TP. So
Right,
there's
yeah.
a lot of risk
Any
there.
deep ward just kills him with an R flank. So Adrian trying to play for ward control. Again, one of the big values of that defensive pink ward, it's kind of hard to clear. You have to kind of like hide against a wall and knock it down. So that stays up. Gets to clear some of these deep wards down. But yeah, like, and you can see now Biofrost able to roam away from Doublelift, right?
Yeah, and
Go for the ward control with Svenskaren.
Doublelift has complete freedom to do whatever he wants with that wave bot. You see him here just trimming it. It's basically whatever he wants to do with it.
Ooh, blue buff actually taken by, looks like Rainover. Had to body slam that to get it away from Svenskaren. And actually, Doublelift pushes really slow. You talked about him thinning it out. Did not shove right away, actually tried to make sure that Wildturtle lost more CS.
I think they realize Wildturtle's he's rotating. Just because they know he can't go down there. And Immortals as a team usually does this when they fall behind bot lane. They just always go for a top lane swap, look for tower, hopefully get an objective. Ooh. Yeah, they get a kill off.
Adrian almost stole it. What a scumbag. So this is nice. So Immortals are playing around the deficit by roaming out of the lane entirely, looking for other plays.
Yeah, it's pretty all in. Like if some of these plays did not work, they would be actually screwed. But since they're out working out, it's pretty good for them.
When they get the suppression on Bjergsen, he's just okay. He's gonna revive. But Adrian's here.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
just there to join the team to get another kill. This is really impeccable.
Yeah,
Turret
they're
killed
playing around their
Ashe.
deficit really well.
And it's get out of the lane,
And try to make
plays somewhere else, right?
Yeah.
And one of the nice things about playing Ashe instead of like Lucian or something, right, is
And she's gone.
Except unlucky because he died.
well, yeah, unlucky he died to a turret, but I mean, still, right? Like that's
He
a big
helped.
deal.
He helped.
He got himself a kill.
Yeah.
So yeah, on the inverse side, right? It's like okay, for TSM, kind of keep your control going, right? Keep trying to punish CS, keep the push up, keep the wards up, and on the Immortal side, it's like get out of the freaking lane and arrow somebody else. And that happens. So now we're in a game where we're only 2,000 apart. That's not bad. All right, well done, Turtle and Adrian. 4 assists on Adrian, actually, like pretty solid for him.
Still feel bad for Turtle.
Doublelift up 65 CS.
Put in such a bad position. It's
a
like
large
nowhere
number.
he goes will he be like safe to just farm.
Nope. And that's the life he has to lead right now, is that, you know, he's going to be down in farm and he's got to deal with that and pick up what he can.
Hopefully the plays he does go for work out.
Yeah.
Like some have in the past.
I mean the Narc kill. It's good.
Oh, he pulled aggro.
Oh,
He's
and he
watching
wasn't
mid.
watching?
He's watching mid.
Wow.
Unfortunate.
He just attack moved forward and pulled aggro.
Might have the how the screen flashes red when you're getting low. He might have that off.
Yeah. I actually turned that option back on because I realized, like, if I can make the game tell me things, I might as well.
Sometimes you just want to look at a fight, you know?
No, I mean, I get it. Like, I get that sometimes you want to, like, yeah, oh well. That's happened to all of us, though. You pan away, you just die for free. Unlucky. But yeah, Immortals have actually swapped their lane in the mid game, and they've managed to continue to pressure the top side. And look,
Yeah, they do
Turtle's
this really
getting
well.
smashed in lane and has a turret kill.
Yep.
They've gotten him back, but, you know,
He wanted revenge.
he got revenge.
I feel like if you watch them though, they do this swap like every game.
Yeah.
Really good at it.
And it feels like, to me, whenever I watch pro games, the AD carry seems to be the big battering ram for turrets. It's always them swapping the AD carry to the turret they want to kill. And the rest of the team kind of supports that. Who's that call come from oftentimes? You've both played on pro teams. You've, of course, coached pro teams as well, Cobb. Like, is that Turtle saying, I want to go top lane? Is it just, you know, reign over whoever is like doing the shot callers? Like, Turtle, you're going here? Is it different per team?
Something I like to preach is like, if you can't get farm, you have to think, because you're an AD carry, you have to get farm.
Yes.
And so all you need to do is like think of, I mean, where can I go to actually get the farm, and then just execute on it. So I mean, it's better than just sitting bottom and just sitting under tower, Sivir and Karma just pushing you, and you like, still losing like 10 CS every wave. Or wait, that's impossible, but still.
But
lose a lot
CS
of
a minute,
CS,
right?
Yeah,
Like,
a minute, there you go.
got you. 12
So
CS.
yeah, he just tries to rotate, maybe get a tower, get 800 gold for his team, help him out, and also get that 400 or 300 gold like onto the Ashe every time.
Maybe the next meta will be AD carries taking teleport and top laners taking the towers.
Yeah,
There you go.
Excellent.
I mean, it's really just about who scales hardest off of gold, and then who can, you know, bring a who's good at flanking, right? Like, that's what the Summoner spell comes down to, and the lane priority comes down to.
I mean, flank on AD carries is pretty
Hey,
sick.
I've seen plenty of AD carry flanks, all right? Every Vayne ever in ranked.
Just pick Twitch, TP Ignite every
Yeah.
game.
Oh my gosh, yes. That's the way to go about it. You ever played Jungle Twitch?
Yeah.
That has been going off in every single one of my games. by the way.
Isn't it just so obnoxious?
Yes.
It's great. Play Jungle Twitch, guys.
Please
Everyone.
don't play it.
Everyone should play Jungle Twitch. Okay, so the lane's matched up, right? At TSM, it feels like them saying, yeah, we want to fight you 2-on-2. We're better at this. Let's go ahead and knock around Wildturtle some more. It's also them having an outer turret they can actually kill. And so Sivir goes there, of course, as well.
And they're matching pressure, both junglers. Clearly, Immortal's goal is to hold this tower. No pressure mid. Yeah.
The hive is in, though. Nice two-man crescendo, but Svenskeren still killed off the Ashe. Now he's going to get revived, so Adrian's done. Wow, Zilly made this dive work so easily. Wow.
Dang.
3 for 0.
This is just showing the advantage in the bot lane for TSM. Like, Doublelift can just do so much more damage than Turtle. Turtle has like a Hecarim on him, he can't do anything, he just dies. And it's like nothing Sona, Gragas, any of them can do.
Right, yeah. Doublelift had a static shiv done, and he had no pressure on him.
And they double TP'd in, so it's just making it a
Yeah.
5v4 pretty much.
But Wildturtle never joined the fight. So you're right, it was a 5v4.
And I think Tom's TP was down for 20 seconds.
Oh yeah, it was.
I believe.
Should Immortals even have defended this then if they know TSM can teleport and they know they can't join their mid or top?
I
It's
wonder
a
if they thought
5v3.
the TP was same time as the Hecarim or the Gnar as well. I'm not sure.
Yeah, yeah, they TP'd on the same minion. I don't think Immortals could have told them, could have known it was both. But either way, yeah, that was actually an outright 5v3 cashing on a TP advantage.
They might just think that's the best opportunity they're going to give for like a comeback in the game.
Okay.
Just fight under tower, hopefully Ashe can get enough damage safely, but no, Hecarim just pretty much one-shot her. Nothing she could do.
The slow into the almost double bomb, rain over is off the turret, and once again, Doublelift is there at the site of the destruction. All three turrets have gone down with Doublelift around. And yeah, that advantage continues to matter. 62, now the minion lead for the AD carries.
Also picked up a QSS, so Malzahar now can't really do anything to him. Or, yeah, to Doublelift. And then
Right.
he can also QSS arrow, whatever, if he somehow gets hit, Sona ulti, so he's really safe.
And I know how AD carry mains, you can touch on this, they would always love building defensive items when they are ahead because they're going to win the fight no matter what.
Yes.
More defensive items. Oh yeah, you're an AD carry too?
I am. I'm like roughly the same elo as Cop right now because he hasn't played as much ranked.
Yeah, we're the bot lane.
Yeah.
It's us.
But sorry, yeah, basically the way it works is, yeah, you know, things like Bloodthirst from the previous game, the Quick Service Ashe here, like, Double still does more damage than Wildturtle does, right? Like, it's not even that important, but it basically removes more risk from the equation. You know you still win a 5-on-5. Now you can make sure you don't lose a 4-on-5.
Yeah.
The only way to actually lose this game is for Doublelift to get hit by a Malzahar ulti and not be able to get out of it, get bursted down, and then they like spread to the rest of your team.
Well, here comes the attempt once again, Sivir ulti and the Mantra Karma Shield. And there's out there. You talk about how safe it is. This is why, like,
Yep.
that was a pretty risky, like, if this was Ashe and Braum, there's dead, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Can't run away with your like 700 move speed back to your tower safely.
yep.
But touching on the build still, like I think with Sivir, if you can, you'd rather go IE here, but the QSS just has so much value. Just because her 3-item, like her Essence, Shiv, IE is just like the biggest power spike for an AD carry in the game.
Yeah, I agree. IE coming in next is a big deal, just to make sure you kill everyone all the time. Well, they're getting dove. Adrian trying to help, but just not doing much. They just don't have this, like, Yeah.
TSM just has the momentum on the game. I'm bad with that word right now.
And you got the momentum. Momentum. Momentum, no problem.
They're just moving faster on the map. Immortal's just trying to like react everywhere that they can, but it's just too difficult.
And the thing is, they had it for a little while, right? Like they had the initial lane swaps before the laning phase really broke down. Immortals were quick on the play.
Yeah, it was almost as they were losing so hard, they took the initiative to make a play, but some worked out, some didn't, and it just ended up being a bigger deficit.
Well, there's a nice arrow. They got the pick. Nicely done.
There we
didn't
go.
ult.
That's the Ashe.
All right, so Immortals still continue to get something once in a while. It's pretty slow. Looks like Svenskeren soloed the Ocean Drake, by the way, so that got taken in. And next up is Mountain number 2. And TSM have continued to get every Elemental Drake this series, actually. Only one Elder went to Immortals in the previous game. So rough stuff. I feel like TSM's winning by a little bit. 75 the lead now for Doublelift. I'm just counting it because it's great. It just keeps getting worse. And it's just disheartening for Wildturtle. But yeah, like basically it's like still Immortals hoping they can land the arrow, right? That's their play. Like Bobo can get a flash ult. They have like plenty of good playmaking champions. They just have to catch TSM out. And TSM to basically stop that just have to ward well, right? Svenskeren actually not with a Sightstone, so it's really on Biofrost and Trinket wards. And that actually makes that job a little bit hard, I guess.
And that's why Zillion's such a comic pick into picks like Malzahar and Ashe, because when they do get the engage off, that one person's going to die, and if you get the Zillion ult off, you can completely turn around the fight.
Yeah, because they usually like burn like 2 ultis to get the pick a lot of the time. It's like Ashe and a Sonar, Ashe and a Malzahar.
Yeah, their whole comp works off those ultis, so if you just have something to counter that, I mean, then you counter their whole comp.
Looks like that's working pretty well, so TSM feeling good, as long as they have the vision that they need right now. Actually looking at TSM's wards, they're mostly around the river. They only have one deep ward right now, because there's only the one Sightstone.
Yeah, they kind of flipped team comps from last game, so now like Immortals, only Ashe does damage really, and then like late game Malzahar. Tom and Gregus just being tanks, hopefully backing up your carries.
Bobo's there.
They're hitting the go button.
It's pretty far in there. Might be a dead Hecker.
He's actually going to trade. Okay. And ooh, that's a catch on double, but he got the revive from Zillion. He's trying to deal some damage. They might have cut this out though. Zillion ulti timed out. NALCS is going to die for this. Maybe? Ooh. Nice double bomb. They got it. I mean, Immortals are actually playing the defense pretty well.
Yeah, TSM went so deep on
the bomb though. That was massive.
The QSS actually did a lot there. He would have died if not for...
Yeah, he got away from Crescendo. Yeah. Turtle doing as safe a damage as he can when he's dead. I think. Yeah. And Doublelift under the turret just to make sure. Dang.
Is there a wave here? No.
Bjergsen is just gonna chill. Pull a Wildturtle, get away from the turret.
Can't get too much there, but they did get an ace, so that's... I mean, that's all they want.
Yeah, they get to reset. And they got mid-tier too, so they got some extra global gold. And yeah, it looks like it's a pretty safe reset. So if you're in the situation, you reset the map. Like what? Actually, we'll do replay first, I guess. So talk to me about, because actually I think Turtle plays it pretty well. If you want to talk to me about Turtle's choices actually coming into this fight a little bit late on the losing end of it. Because it goes pretty well for a while.
Doublelift actually spell shield
arrow there.
Yeah, he did.
Now he's just still safe, just getting ricochet procs everywhere.
I guess he gets a flash away from Haunter, so Haunter all-ins and doesn't do enough damage.
It's lucky the ricochet didn't go up or he'd be dead. This would look a lot worse.
Does Adrian pick it up here?
Oh no! Adrian walked into the double bomb and it killed Rainover.
Happens.
It happens? That's a crucial mistake.
Yeah, and so TSM,
would you forgive me, Cup?
No.
Yeah, that was
killed me with
funny.
a bomb? Of course not.
Okay. Glad we got the camaraderie here. The over-the-wall dive, the fear lands. Goodbye, Wildturtle. Probably, maybe. No, he's okay. Oh, Sven's so dead.
Is he though?
Oh, is he though? Zillion.
Haunter might up.
Haunter's actually just invincible. Oh, and it timed out on Sven. That's a 2 for 0. Or 2 for 1, rather.
Pobelter's a genius.
He is a genius. 200 IQ Pobelter. Doublelift for the sick pick.
Oh, they just went like way too deep there because I understand what they're doing. They can't really pressure like an inhib, and so they're trying to pressure off Baron, but Immortals just didn't walk close enough, and so they just overchased into tower. Just went way too deep. That could cost them a bit of gold.
Yeah,
sure.
I don't think they'll do it again though, just because Next is Earth Dragon, and they're going to have 2 Earth Dragons, which is going to be an instant Baron kill, basically. So the fight's for sure going to be around Baron next.
This actually started like back in like red brush over the wall. It's all the way under tower.
Hanser's flank was
Actually through the base.
Yeah.
That's insane. And Adrian does a really good job of like getting all the heals in without dying.
Oh yeah, he TP'd into base in that ward.
I gotta say, Adrian's positioning super sick.
Yep.
Like, he got a ton of heals off. Honestly played it super well. He is actually... Oh, Adrian's actually 1 point Q, by the way. He's 5 points shield, 4 points haste in the one in the Q.
And that's something he's really known for, like Soraka's positioning. It's like impossible to kill him in a lot of fights. Because he's just so used to playing these
Right.
the safe
This
supports.
is his style. Right. Protect the entire team, shield them all up all the time. And yeah, so he runs really fast, everyone else in his team runs really fast, and they get constant shields, because even though the heal's only one person, the shield goes to everybody. So he's giving them a lot of durability in these fights.
Mikhail's on Karma too, so that
Right.
Ash Arrow is not going to do much here.
And actually, to talk about that, Bunny, I think Mikhail's actually might make more sense at Ardent Sensor because it's more mana regen, and Sona's so mana hungry. How do you feel about that?
In competitive, oftentimes you're backing for wards and fighting for control. There's not as many skirmishes, so you're not burning your mana as much. So it's basically just your 1 mana pool should be more than enough for the fight.
Okay. So instead, it's like maybe just for the zillion bombs and the Hecarim Fear, just cleanse them off that. It's not so much. That's a good point, though. Yeah, as Sona, you're not scrapping nearly as often.
Yeah, because I know for rune pages in solo queue, it's nice to get some mana regen runes on, but in competitive, they wouldn't really be utilized that much.
Makes sense. That's actually a nice point to talk about. I hadn't thought of that at all. Svenskern's pretty fast. That is a fast horsey.
Why do you think Sona got from Mikhail's? Is that just for healing?
It's the healing in the cleanse, yeah.
And Nar's
Not a lot.
probably going to get it. Stun up.
Yeah. There's 3 good stunners on TSM, right? Like Hecarim Fear, Gnar ulti, Zillion Bomb. All those can matter quite a lot. He actually
Usually
kept
Sona's
Wildturtle alive.
like in that though. She's usually like in the brunt of that though. Like she's getting hit.
You can avoid a Gnar.
She could.
Yeah.
Come on.
Hey, he's maxed his Song of Celerity, man. He runs fast.
So fast.
He
matches the Karma Sivir speed.
See, there you go. Maybe that's part of the reason, right?
You know all the ability names, Freak. You're making me nervous.
Oh, unlucky.
Oh, kill it!
Devastating as an AD carry.
They're going through it!
Bam! Alright. We'll see Power Chord, Staccato, Diminuendo,
The 100
or...
CS advantage, brutal to see.
It's Power Chord Tempo for the E.
3.3k up on that Sivir. That's a big Sivir.
Significant. Highest gold in the game.
item.
Yeah, it is. It basically pays for a Scimitar if he wants one.
I mean, all Ash really needs now is just to finish that IE, and he'll be doing just as much damage. Maybe
That's
not
true.
just as much damage, but like
But
still
it's still
a lot.
comparable, right?
Yeah.
Like, at a certain point, they're hitting this similar targets with similar items.
I mean, it's also like whose tank line will like fall first.
Right, yeah.
And Tom Gragas.
And Sivir's not exactly a tank buster, right? You still cover your single target damage there in a lot of cases.
I think
And
what's good about Sivir is you can also hit like other targets through
Yes.
hitting the tanks. That's why she's good.
Absolutely. I mean, you can see right there, he actually one-shot a Minuwave 20 seconds ago, but I definitely agree. The nice thing is Adrian at least has like the AoE shield to make it like less brutal. Rain over, he's okay.
Playing it safe, looking
Yep.
for any opportunities. Now they see Tom bottom. Good look for a play here.
All right, let's see what we get for ourselves. Yeah, so you'd mentioned before the fact that they have Double Mountain Drake. TSM want to actually often start Baron because they can kill it very fast. Their damage high enough. And Immortals have to kind of play around that. Of course, there's still always the threat of an Asher, always the threat of a Flash Crescendo. Those are things that TSM have to think about. They do have Mikhail's on Biofrost. He got that for himself, so he's actually doing the double shield build as well. It's Mikhail's into Ardent Sensor, so high CDR. He's actually at cap at this point. That's 40 CDR right now on Biofrost build.
Yeah, and TSM really wants to fight around this Baron. They're done diving towers, so it should go a lot better for them.
All right, no tower dives for TSM. They don't have the range for it really. They kill Baron fast. Max CDR, plenty of shield power, both these supports. Looks like Adrian is going Ardent Sensor for his next major item. He just doesn't have as much money as Biofrost. And you're ready to die. All right, dive in. Hecarim on the back line. Adrian is actually totally safe, though.
Turtle's in a good spot too. He's getting a lot of damage off.
Hanser revived. Sven's dead.
They might actually win this fight.
Feels like we're not getting a lot of Sivir ricochets. Here's the chance right now. Ricochets back up.
Ooh, double bomb.
Ooh, good Biofrost by Rainover. And when he's dead, Turtle's Almost dead. Oh, Doublelift.
That's the Sivir right there.
Look at the shields he just got. He got like 800 health in shields. Oh, he's dead. Oh no, his passive came up.
Penta, maybe?
The passive?
He's gonna get it.
Doublelift.
Pentakill.
Pentakill. What a League of Legends player. Nicely done. You know, Doublelift's almost got 1,000 kills.
Didn't he hit it?
He needed like 20-ish to hit 1,000.
What's he at? What's he at?
At least 5.
Man, is that game?
I think it's game. I think it's the series. I think that's TSM securing first place in North American LCS. Plus
Sivir.
10. Yeah, Doublelift's like very close right now to a full 1,000 kills in North American LCS.
You see a lot of Sivir team fights. They look just like that. Like randomly, it looks like they're losing. It's kind of weird. And then randomly, like
Everyone's
one ricochet, yeah, everyone dies.
And I'm sure all the fights would have looked like that if they weren't under 2 towers in the 2 previous ones.
Right, where they're split up and it's just really chaotic. So TSM 16-1, they secure first place in North American LCS.
Doublelift, 100%.
Yeah, because they 2-0 Immortals. So the best they can do is match at 16-2, which they own. So
first place.
Yeah, TSM #1 team in North America heading into playoffs. Immortals guaranteed to be the #2 team heading into playoffs. Yeah, dude, Doublelift and Biofrost freaking smashed that lane. Like the lane swap game was like kind of close. Okay, they had control. This was freaking brutal.
They've shown it like all split though. They've been just crushing lanes. Biofrost is like he's an amateur, right? And he just came out.
Yeah.
He's just a monster now.
Yeah, he played a little bit on Challenger last split on Dream Team, I'm pretty sure, and then joins TSM and is like top 3 supports in the league in everyone's opinion, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Like that's insane. That's incredible growth for a player, right? I know, Bunny, like when you first joined the scene, like you were really hyped up as well. You did like really, really good on your first couple of splits. So like, how do you just be a top 3 support as a rookie? Like, how does that happen?
I think it kind of just depends on how your team brings you into the series. I know with these guys on Curse, it was just like, oh yeah, Bunny, we're just going out and play some video games. It'll be fun.
Okay.
So it's not like any pressure at all, and he's just playing how he plays in scrims, I'm guessing, you know?
And that works out, right? Like as long as the nerves aren't really there and you're not underperforming, because all these players, you know they're all very good, right? These guys are all like, you know, Challenger, solo queue, whatever. Like we know they're very skilled at League of Legends, but bringing it to stage sometimes is very difficult. And so you're saying team environment being a very big reason for that. Turns out, you know, that this environment for TSM looks amazing. So, you know, got to hand it to Biofrost. Doublelift as well. As a player, he said, yeah, last week he had an interview and he's like, I'm happy that like every single year I've always been one of the best players. Like I've always been one of the very best, if not the best AD carry in North America. And he's kept it consistently for like 6 years now, right, as a player. That's like, that's got to be hard to do.
He's shown it. He's shown how good he is. Like he always has like the best GPM, like most kills, most pressure, just everything. And he always like wins his lane, always at least is fighting for CS, even though he like back in the day he'd like die a lot for it.
Right.
But I mean he'd still be up there in the CS. Like, he would have it.
Yeah, he'd fight you for it all the time, and that's always difficult as well. As like, and especially like any of you guys watching at home, like I recommend going back and watching that laning phase and just like seeing like the positioning of Biofrost, the positioning of Doublelift when they use their skill shots, like you know what the wave looks like when they go in for it, because there's a lot of science to actually 2-on-2ing right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you touched on it on Bio hitting the Q and then Doublelift immediately following up with the boomerang, and it just snowballed into the CS lead they had.
Yeah, so beautiful stuff right there. So guys, we're going to pick up again in a minute. Right now, or very, very soon, we will listen into an interview. We've got to, of course, coordinate with the other stream. So very shortly, pastry time, we'll be talking with someone from, I'm assuming, TSM at that point. So at some point, it'll actually be Doublelift. I'm actually hearing that one now. So in the near future, you're going to be hearing from pastry time and Doublelift. We'll toss that in a minute. Overall, it was just kind of celebrating the fact that, look, TSM look insane as a team. Their players playing really well. Again, if you're ever looking in the lane right, you can look at that stuff. But now we do actually have Zyrene with Doublelift, and they can take it away.
Great cast on the day here with Doublelift after that pentakill. What did that mean to you to get that pentakill in that game?
I got a lot of pentas in my career, so it just felt pretty good. When I got the quad, I was like, gimme, 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 and my teammates were like, I could get it myself, but Soren set me up, so I love my team, and actually in the heat of the moment, I didn't even realize that I killed them all. I just know I flashed into 5 people, which usually I just die and I look really dumb, so yeah, it felt pretty good.
Oh, man. And so you were talking about how you were just so hyped up about that, and so you, at the beginning of the day, we ran a little clip of you saying that, you know, Immortals think about us. We don't really think about them at all. But where do you see Immortals as your rivals? Because that seemed to mean a lot to you to actually take them down once again.
Well, yeah, Immortals is obviously like clear-cut second best team in NA. I mean, they give us the hardest time, and just playing against them, it might have been like maybe sometimes seems one-sided or whatever. Sometimes seemed like we're just rolling over them in team fights, but it's so hard to make calls against them, to just like give the correct information and to execute. Like we have to play mechanically perfectly, and we have to have the best game strats. So it's really hard. Like in the middle of the game, it's so stressful. Even when we had a huge lead, I felt a lot of pressure from Immortals, and yeah, I mean they just play their signature like very aggressive style, and I think that last game, their bottom lane was pretty much the biggest reason why they were not able to like come back. Because if you're playing Ashe Sona, which is like a really big lane dominant lane, then you should not be down like 100 CS. So yeah, I think we got pretty lucky in that way.
And so you're talking about pressure, and I want to actually reflect on the previous spring split and compare it and contrast it to this split. You finished last split in 6th during the regular season. Now you guys had first place since day 1, week 1, and you've held on to it the entire time. You actually just locked in first place for the spring split, or the summer split here. Is it harder to go through that trial and tribulation of being 6th place and then having to fight your way up? Or is it harder to lead the pack and struggle to find improvement?
Oh, dude, last split was definitely harder. I mean, we didn't really think anything was working, and like it really sucks when you're coming in as the lowest seed because you have like that super difficult journey all the way. I'm gonna say like both are really hard, but when you're just getting beaten down week by week and you're throwing like 10K gold leads like on a weekly basis, it feels so bad. It's really demoralizing. And at the time, I was questioning like, wow, am I really like an elite player? Are we really an elite team? This is like the TSM that has been in every single North American finals, and like we're 6th place in the regular season. It feels so bad. I feel like more at home here, I guess. And like, I don't know, we're playing like an elite team, and I think we can compete at the world level right now.
How far does this TSM go? If you guys compete at the world level, where is the ceiling for this TSM team?
I mean, the whole goal of TSM, I mean, Reginald was always telling me, even when he signed me, that the goal of TSM is to win Worlds. So that's always been our #1 priority and our dream since the very beginning, you know? When I first started being a pro 6 years ago, that's what I wanted to do, is win Worlds. So I think we're on our way.
All right, congratulations on that win once again, Doublelift. Now we're going to throw it over to the other side of the rift to get an interview with Immortals Pobelter.
Thank you very much, Arian. I'm here with Pobelter. Thank you so much for joining me after a tough loss there. First things first, how are you feeling coming off the series?
I'm actually not too bummed out about it. Yeah, we lost and it was 2-0, but it's always really fun to play against TSM because they're really aggressive and they push us harder than any other team in NA. I mean, it makes sense, right? They're first and we're second, so even though we lost, it was really fun to play, and we have a lot to learn on and improve on before playoffs, so I'm still not that sad about it.
Well, fair enough. It was certainly a fun series to watch. What was your preparation like coming into the series, though? Because I know you've had a flurry of weeks just really dominating a lot of teams, but you expected TSM to be a challenge here. What was sort of the pre-game stuff moving into this series this weekend?
Well, we were pretty hungry to win against TSM for probably like the past 3 or 4 weeks because we've lost against them the past 2 times we've played them, and we pretty much dominate every other team. So in practice, we were always like, all right, well, they messed up here, but TSM probably wouldn't, so we should play differently. Because, you know, if this mistake happens, then, you know, TSM's not going to do it. So, yeah, we've really been tunneled in on it. It's gotten to the point where our coach is like, all right, guys, I know we really want to beat TSM, but we're still practicing for other teams. And, yeah, just focus on the team week by week.
And then, of course, the series, definitely a tough loss there. Kind of what went wrong from your perspective as far as the series, though? Because obviously TSM did sweep you here.
Game 1... I think was pretty close, actually. I think we were in a winning position around Dragon, but we kind of rushed in, and we started to die 1 by 1 when we should have waited for Soraka ult and GP ulti to come back up. I think if we had waited for those, we would have had like a really clean ace there and probably won the game, but we made a misstep there, and then from there we had some poor side lane wave management, and then whenever Dragon spawned, we would be having to catch waves. So they ended up getting a few Infernal Drakes on us, and then we did start to get caught out a little bit by like Shen, Hecker, and Bard. I think it's a really strong combo. And so they were just constantly forcing plays from, like they would just be brute forcing it, but it's so hard to stop when it's Shen, Hecker, and Bard, Zillion. It's like engaging on you from 2,000 range. Second game was pretty much over after lane phase, I think. Top lane died to a gank, I did do a gank. Bot lane was down like 30 CS. And then I think we were feeling kind of desperate, so we tried to make the gank bot, and then we ended up like 3 or 4 people dying there. So that was not great, but we kind of came back a little bit by making good plays towards the top side. But still, it wasn't enough, and I think some people on the team were having some jitters. We were making some really basic mistakes, like people kept walking in and catching zillion double bombs, things like that. So I think we definitely need to tame our nerves a little bit.
Well, one final question here. You've had a strong finish to the regular season, not first this time, but second. It is very likely now that that you'll play TSM again in the playoffs. If you play them again, what do you expect the result to be?
Well, if you recall spring split, we 2-0'd TSM in the regular split and got 3-0'd in playoffs by them. This split, we're 0-2 against them in the regular season, so I'm predicting a 3-0 against them in playoffs.
Well, best of luck. Thank you once again for joining me with Biofrost. We're going to throw it back to Dash and the boys at the analyst desk.
Thank you very much. Yes, so the 3-0 finals prediction for Wildturtle makes sense. I think the logic holds. So, yeah, you heard Doublelift say our goal is to win Worlds. I think kind of no surprise there for Wildturtle. Not broken up about the match. I want to kind of get final thoughts from you guys about those players and those teams.
I guess for TSM, like Doublelift said, they'll probably be like Worlds contenders, like finalists, whatever.
Yeah.
Like I could maybe see it. Like they're very good as a team right now. They're very like solid on their strategy. They know what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Their bot lane is just like this powerhouse bot lane. Like your mid lane is Bjergsen, of course. Like
Yep.
he's a monster. Then Svenskeren has like all that backup from like also Haunter winning top. So anywhere he goes, there's like no contest. 'Cause, like you just can't fight them. And so yeah, you could see them doing very well later on.
Cool. And Bunny?
Yeah, I think they just have a really good grasp on the game right now. Like what Pobelter touched on. Yeah, they're brute forcing us, and they're also, if the other team tries to brute force on them, they're really safe and they can escape. So I think overall, they just have a really good grasp on the game, and yeah.
All right, well, of course, two very strong teams. TSM sees together right now. We'll see what happens over in playoffs. But, guys, that's going to do it for this stream tonight. Thank you guys very much, Cop and Bunny Fufu, for being wonderful guest hosts and you know, for all the valuable analysis. So now this stream is going to be done. We're not going to be covering the next match, but we are going to send it over to the analysts who are already breaking down that series.
So if maybe you just cut off the leg, right? But you can't actually do that. You can't abandon them. So they made a play on bot side to try to get Turtle and Adrian back in this game. And when it backfired, it just snowballed the game even further.
Exactly. That's the scary moment. So I do want to dive into that 8:30 replay, the 4-for-1 in favor of TSM so early on in the matchup, coming into the bot lane, defense of a turret dive here, going to turn around on Immortals.
Well, it starts out with the Immortals trying to start the play, but the Bjergsen TP comes in very quickly, and most importantly, he manages to finish channeling it right as Biofrost go down to get the ult save off, and then they just turn it back as the rest of the TPs start channeling in. And Haunter has a monster Gnar ult there. Basically is able to take out Turtle while the rest of the team is chasing down the rest of Immortals front line.
Yep, so Huni will be picked up here underneath the turret. The total of 4 kills for TSM. Rainover gets 1 back. But just not, you know, that's just an insane amount of gold flex for TSM. From there, they can push the wave in, go take the first dragon of the match. So they secure a lot of advantages for themselves. And from this point onward, basically, we said TSM's game to lose, right? The massive gold lead this early on. But that's where we were impressed by Immortals, their ability to extend the game and still somehow kind of slug their way back into it.
Yeah, I think the most impressive thing is that when you see a team with as big a lead as TSM has, the losing team usually struggles to keep up in even man fights in the sense where it's not a 3v4 protection, it's a 4v4.
Right.
And Immortals was always there, pretty much even number strength fighting, which is just a sign of a good team that they're on top, they know what the other team's going to do, and they're able to match it. But unfortunately, they're just a little too far behind.
Yeah, not quite enough. We saw a couple fights go their way. They couldn't quite get it back. I want to move to our next replay. It's going to be another TSM victory, 3-for-0 dive, 20 minutes into the game in the top lane.
Yeah, and this was a big one. This is something where everything kind of goes wrong here for Reno. So watch this. He goes for a flash body slam on Svenskeren, but it's a little too late. Then the ultimate comes out, and it's spell shielded by Doublelift. And it's kind of just this comedy of errors, everything going a little bit wrong for them. And before that, you know, he had been playing an almost immaculate game. He was actually, you know, it's very early stages were not great for him, but he was the one who was kind of the spark plug for the team to actually get them back in a lot of these. And he was the catalyst for a lot of these top lane plays, counter ganks coming in when they were getting dove. And I actually thought Rainover had a pretty solid game, but
I slightly disagree, only just because Gragas versus Hecarim early, you need to have some kind of impact on the map. And the fact that Sven was able to get 2 kills before Gragas had done anything, and he'd basically been seen by all of TSM's wards throughout the early game, he wasn't able to get anything done. And that's a little bit of a problem when you have the matchups that's going to get outscaled and should have earlier pressure.
So let me ask you this, though. How much of that is a product of the fact that the lanes were losing as hard as they were? For example, in that bot lane, when we're sitting at 30% health under our own turret, maybe we can come get some pressure relief, but we can't even necessarily capitalize on gank.
That's what I was going to say. Is I felt that every lane was already losing before the ganks even happened. They were all down in CS. Pole Belter was pushing heavily up in the lane and allowed himself to be ganked, wasted his summoner. Top lane, Huni is no mana, pushed past the river. He dies to a gank. So although yes, Svenskeren did accomplish more, I felt like it was more because of errors of the laners, and it is hard. It's very hard to be effective as a jungler when every lane is losing, and every lane was losing this game, and I still thought that Reignover was pretty effective, but we are getting a little.
Yeah,
I don't want to get too. I don't want to get too in the weeds about it. And obviously, we respect both opinions here. But now I want to move us into our final replay. The game ends off of a Doublelift pentakill here, coming in at the end on Sivir, as he said himself, a very aggressive flash here into 4 members of the enemy team coming up.
Yeah, this definitely isn't the cleanest fight for TSM. You see Haunter basically go down for free. The problem is Immortals has already blown so many ults and resources to get him that low that once he pops back up from the Ericsson ult, he's basically at full health and there's not a ton of threat at him. And once they start getting low from all the kind of damage from Sivir, she finally flashes in super aggressively there. And the Voidlings all died, so when Reignover goes to turn it, it doesn't work.
And also speaking about, Pole Belter's point, some of the errors, the jitters, he's talking about people walking into double bombs. Guess who did it that fight? It was Wildturtle, move commanding into a double bomb, which essentially allowed Turtle to flash forward because he knew that the AD carry could not return damage. He's at 10% at that point, and that's a big error to make from Wildturtle when he was already so much less effective in these fights. He's a full IE behind, plus even more gold on top of that. You cannot afford to have a positioning error like that when you're that far behind. And if Doublelift comes up big, Wildturtle not really performing in this game.
Doublelift also going to grab player of the game, 10, 1, and 8 on Sivir. That pentakill just a part of it, adding to his total. We're approaching that 1,000 mark. We're going to continue to track it. He's almost there, but also some fantastic spell shields out of him this game. So stellar play mechanically.
Right, I think the biggest thing too is just the lane dominance that he had. It opened up a number of the plays that put TSM ahead, and they're all off the back of his excellent laning, and then playing the team fights well with that lead is super important.
Yeah, definitely some credit to Biofrost as well. He was nailing the karma cues and just, you should never get a lead that big in professional League of Legends in 2v2. Even with jungle assistance, it's so rare to see.
Right, and it wasn't any early, really.
Yeah,
it was that turn. Yeah.
And well, 991 kills on the season so far. He's got a minimum of 2 games tomorrow against Energy of all teams to pick up those last 9 kills to finish it in the regular season. I do, real quick, want to just take a look at the playoff picture and idea here. As TSM is locked into that #1 position, holding the head-to-head against Immortals, regardless of what happens tomorrow, they will get the #1 seed. Immortals is sitting in that 2nd position right now. So for all intents and purposes, they cannot meet each other necessarily until the end of the playoff run. This could very well be our finals. What are your assessments of these teams moving in toward that playoff picture?
I think the most interesting thing to think about is the changes coming in the patch with the fact that you'll probably see a lot more standard lanes, and we saw Immortals get bopped in standard lanes this game. So I think I had heard their coach be pretty confident about the changes and thinking that standard lanes were good for them. Maybe that's true for most teams, but maybe not the matchup versus TSM.
Yeah, the bot lane is big discrepancy there. It's hard to say anything other than that. But at the same time, Immortals is a very good team. The only team that they have lost to this whole season is TSM. And Pole Belter talked about it, right? Sometimes things don't go as planned in playoffs, and who knows? Maybe neither of these teams make the finals, right? They're guaranteed to go to Toronto, but it could be the 3rd place match. And, and
that
you
was
never want to get too confident.
Yeah,
very presumptuous.
James.
No, but I have one final question. I know I'm taking up a lot of time, but a point about Huni. Watching him on GP and on Tom Kench this game, we had kind of mentioned that a strategy for Game 2 might be putting him back on a more proactive and playmaking champion. The team seems to be shying a bit away from that.
It's hard to know exactly why, because we were talking about the Tom Kench being a strong pick overall, but not necessarily great into what we had seen out of TSM's comp. And it also is hard to make, because Huni Reino are really the core of that team, and getting Huni ahead, and it's just not easy to get Tom Kench ahead versus Anar early. So even though we can say maybe Reignover should have pathed a little differently or something, at the end of the day, it's not a great matchup to look to snowball. So I think there are some concerns if this is going to be their champ pool moving forward.
Yeah, there's always concerns. I mean, people looking back to the Lucian top stuff, sometimes there's some weird stuff. I think Tom Kench is not that, and I think the idea was certainly try to get ahead, and then you have this tanky duo ulting in behind them, bring in Reignover and Huni and collapse or whatever, but it didn't work out. All their lanes fall behind, and sometimes game plans just kind of go out the window when you fall that far behind.
Yeah, you take a leg out from a chair, it's not going to stand very well.
Yeah. Very much so. All right, well, even though it was a 2-0, it was an incredibly exciting series between these two teams. That is going to do it for our match of the week, but stay tuned. There's more League of Legends coming your way. Next up, Team Envy is challenged to hold on to their 6th place playoff seed in a battle against Phoenix One. We'll be right back.
Expecting to see this one try to be standard for TSM as Doublelift would love to smash his opponent.
What do you mean TSM? Please start yelling Immortals. Immortals!
And they can't do anything. Grenade bounces across, and they can't decide whether they want in or whether they want out. So TSM is going to decide for them.
Right here! I'm TPing long.
They're looking to avoid Svenskeren, and it wears off. He goes down. And Team Solo Mid is going to take a Game 1 38-minute win over Immortals. Immortals is going to have to punch back even harder this time.
Dirksen got the ult off!
Yep, it's on it. He can get back into the fight, get the monster shield on for the team. That's a Hanser hit, but everybody was hit by the crescendo. Oh, he loses the hits. The passive is there. He could get taken down here by Turtle as it wears off.
Okay, we're going, Kevin, we're going.
I'm on Ash.
I'm holding down. I'm looking for low. Come, close.
Okay.
Oh, the double bomb! It's gonna be on Adrian. There it is, takes him down. Bjergsen reassesses the fight, says, yes, we can do this.
There's the bomb.
Look at Silver.
I'm ulti.
And then. When you can end. Chase him. There's no flash.
Penta! Gimme!
Penta! Gimme! Kill the Birdlings.
I'm dead.
TSM takes down Immortals.